are in listen-only mode.
Welcome, everybody. How lovely to have you join us today. We have a chat box, and I'm hoping that you can chat to me and let me know that you're there. I'll be asking you questions as we go along. Can somebody send me a chat? And Troy, if you're there, can you send me a chat too, please?
It's good.
Okay, are you hearing me? Are you seeing my screen?
Yes.
All right. And how do patients get to, or how do guests get to send us a chat? Do you want to just tell them, please?
Sure. Hi, everyone. Yeah, there's a chat box on the right-hand side of your screen. There's a little control panel. There should be a chat box that shows up there. If you have any questions or comments or anything not working or working, just put their comments in there. So it looks like we've got some. Everyone says sounds good. Hello. Allison says sound good.
Okay, I can't see anyone.
Okay, I'll manage that. You can run your slides in, but it looks like we're good.
Okay, great. At least I'm not just talking to my screen, because there's always that weirdness factor that I'm sitting in my office with my laptop and my slides and no one's faces to see. So I'm so delighted to have you all with me. It looks like there's a whole bunch of people signed on. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And thank you for sharing your evening with me. To me, that means that you're really committed to enhancing your health and looking to get to that next level. I'm sure some of you have health challenges. You're struggling with certain things. Many of you are already following your health journey and you're on it and you're trying things. Maybe at some point things are working and then at other points the same things stop working. So I want to talk a little bit about that too. I'm keeping Troy live on the line with us because I can't see your comments and things. Coming up, I'm going to ask for some feedback, and then I'll make notes on what's most interesting to you.
Just one
So,
quick comment, Dr. Iyer, is your slides aren't showing properly. It's stuck on what do you want page, so I'm not sure why, but.
okay. Let's try that. Play now. How's that?
It's still stuck on that page. I don't know why. So if this happens, what I would suggest we do.
I'm going to go to screen sharing. I'm seeing screen sharing here. And try that. How's that?
Hasn't changed.
Still? Yeah, I have an idea. Play now. Did that work?
No.
Nothing. My screen
Not
is
yet.
okay. Well, I see a whole bunch of buttons here. It's got to be one of these, right? There's a mic, there's a camera, there's a button there. How's that? Do you see better?
Oh, now you've disconnected, I think. So go back on. Sorry, everyone.
Okay.
We'll get this here working sometime. There we go. There we go. That's good.
Okay. Is that good now?
Yes. Just expand your screen. There we go. That's perfect.
Okay, thank you. See, I told you I'd rather do this live, but I know there's some very special people on this call that just have struggles even getting out the house or getting into any public places and things like that. So I'm going to get to all of these questions and concerns that you might have and how to start reversing all of this and do better with your health. So this is our clinic, and my partner, Dr. Shabnam Daskar, is our Director of Clinical and Medical Education. And many of the really nice slides, as you can see, are from her, because she's the techie geek and I'm not. So thank you for your patience while we figured out the first few moments of technical glitches here. Before we get started, I hope you do have your pen and paper like I invited you to grab, and maybe you've got that glass of wine and that cup of tea. I have a cup of tea right now. But I want you to spend just a few moments. We'll take 30 seconds to write down what you want more of in your health. And there's a very good reason for this. We need to have you focused so that you can get out of this 2-hour session with me everything that you need to get that's pertinent to you. And when you take the time to write these things down, you can listen from that place. So here we go. And by all means, type some of them into Troy. We won't announce them all right now. I have my own list coming up, and Troy can let me know if I've missed anything. It could be anything. It could be energy, sleep, metabolism, weight loss, memory, mood. Okay, do you guys need a little bit more time or are you good? Troy, let me know.
We just have some new comments starting to come in, but I think everyone's writing them down. One of them's energy. I'll read them off if on the slides anything's different.
Okay, so for everyone that's just getting in on the call now, we're taking these few seconds to write down everything that we want more of in our health. So whether it's energy or sleep or metabolism or motor focus. So we'll let you catch up with that. And at this next step, I want you to write down why. Why is it important? What do you want to accomplish with more energy? Now, for me, the turning point to being better with my health journey, I mean, not cheating and falling off track. And if you're on my newsletters, you know my story, right? I love being healthy. I'm passionate about health. I'm passionate about feeding my body, right? And then every so often, I fall off the wagon and I feel awful. And then I got to pick myself up, dust off, and keep going. And the real turning point for me was noticing that I had to keep up with my kids. My sons are 8 and 11 years old. And I can't ride bikes with them if I'm tired. And I know that they're going to, I'm going to be much older. I'm going to be in my 60s when they're done high school and university and doing all that cool stuff. And when they have kids, I'll be even older. And I realized that I need health. Health to be on the beach with them, to ride bikes, to climb mountains, to go hiking. And many of you know that we're planning to climb Kilimanjaro. We're training for it. So why do you need more health? What do you want to do with it? Because it's one thing to want it. It's a completely different thing to be emotionally connected to that goal. It's what keeps you on track. It's what gives you that momentum and that drive to stick to it even when you don't feel like it. So I want you to tie in deeply with that emotional goal. Is it time with your children? Is it traveling? Is it volunteering? Is it climbing mountains? What is it that you want to do? And if any of you are willing to share, please type it in. We won't necessarily share your name unless you say we can. I mean, heck, there could be 100 Marys and Paulas in the world, or Stevens, or Troys even. So share with me, what is it, and then why do you want it? And here's the common ones that I hear the most. So what's important to you? What are you working so hard for now that you need your health in the future to be able to achieve? Please share with me. I need Troy to tell me what you're saying.
Yeah, so there's a number of people said energy, weight loss, metabolism, memory, better sleep, which I'm hoping will aid in fat loss. Menopause, osteoarthritis, more life in my years, more fun and adventure, and metabolism again.
Okay, well, thank you all so much, because, at least then I don't feel so lonely, right? I know you're there. But would you like to tell me why? Like, what will you do with more energy? So someone will have fun and adventure. I'm going to chat, and thank you, whoever wrote that. Thank you absolutely from the bottom of my heart, because I'm going to use this to expand. See, fun and adventure still aren't connected to something deeply emotional. Now, if you said going on a roller coaster in Disneyland with my grandson, that is a distinct, very specific goal that you have, that you can picture, you can visualize, you can, when it happens, you know you got it. I hope that makes sense to you all. So I know that you want to do stuff, but instead of saying travel, pick a place that you want to be at. Write down what it is that you want to be doing there. You know, if you're on the beach, are you running? Are you swimming? Are you scuba diving? Who's with you? Who's enjoying your time with you? And now please share. Troy, just give me one or two.
I don't have any. Oh, here's one here: bike riding through Europe with my husband.
Nice.
That's a great one. I love exercise. As I get older, I can't do as much. Always trying to be healthier to slow the aging. Kayaking this summer for 6 days with my family off Vancouver Island. Another
That's
one.
incredible.
Yes.
I love it. Love it. Now, do you guys see how specific I'm taking you? Because I want to tell you one thing. My most successful clients, yes, sure, they're with me long term. We work together ongoing for years because life changes, health changes, circumstances change, and I'm going to teach you all of these things. I want to let you know right now, though, when I say that, not everyone sees me every month or every 2 months or every 3 months. As we work together longer, we see each other less often. That being said, the clients that are most successful are the ones that are committed to a goal. They have a vision, they have in their mind. No, I'm sure you've heard of vision boards and things. And you know, in the field of neuroplasticity, and when we look at the brain and how we create new brain pathways and how we alter human behavior in a positive way, we know that all of this is important. And that's why I'm starting right here. Because it doesn't matter if I give you energy. You're not going to stick to the steps until you're really deeply connected to why. And so really, I'm telling you this, everything else you can read or listen to again, but you coming up with your specific, tangible goal is the most important part of tonight. So thank you all for contributing, and keep writing. I'm just going to move to the next slide, which doesn't want to, oh, there we go. All right, so this is how I look at clients, and I have you draw this triangle and think about all the pieces of total health. So imagine in this yellow piece of the triangle, within the triangle, write down in your own that you're drawing all the things that you want. So you wanted energy, you wanted memory, you wanted focus, you wanted, you know, metabolism, weight loss, better sleep. All of those things go inside the triangle. Now, I've been a medical doctor 21 years already. I like to tease that I'm only 25, which means I went to med school at age 3. Okay, but jokes aside, my last 10 years have been so satisfying because in the first 11, I just looked at people as a something, you know, a sore toe, a headache, when I did obstetrics and gynecology, it was, oh, you're a uterus or you're a pregnant person or something, right? But there was no looking at all of a human being. And to share just a little bit about my journey, and if you read my notes, I was effed. Fatigued to the point where I was late for work almost every day. I struggled to get out of bed in the morning. It was, I can't even describe how horrible that was. I was 28 years old, you know, had the career of my dreams. I had absolutely everything. Beautiful home. I'd always dreamed of having a home with water outside, and I lived along a creek. I dreamed of having lots of greenery. Well, okay, I had farms all around me, but it was still beautiful. I had the career where I could see moms and grandmas and babies and deliver the baby and look after grandma in the hospital or in palliative care or whatever. But I was completely involved in my community and my patients' lives, and I had nothing to be bothered with. Just totally fulfilled and happy, except I was foggy. I felt like my brain was just not as crisp and clear, and I'm sure many of you can relate to that. Fat, oh my gosh. You know, I read Shape magazine, and I counted calories, and I prepared all that food, and I journaled every single morsel, and I exercised, and it was, have you heard of this? Calories in versus calories out. Well, let me tell you, that did not work. I grew to 5 sizes larger than I am today. 5. I had a belly so big it got in the way when I squatted. And exercising and dieting did not work. So here I am, completely now fed up and frustrated at what the heck. And I'm sure many of you out there, I mean, let Troy know how many of you are out there that have been so fed up and frustrated that what you're doing is not working. And the worst part is, I'd go to the doctor, because I had to see a doctor too, and guess what he said to me? Somebody type it. What did my doctor tell me every time I went into his office and he ran test after test after test? Your
You're
tests,
fine. You're getting old.
that's right.
Eat less,
You're getting
exercise
old.
more.
Yes.
Right.
Like how it
Yeah.
did not work. And he kept saying, your tests are all normal.
Nothing's
All
wrong here.
normal.
Here's an antidepressant.
Here's an antidepressant. Exactly. And I'm like, what the heck do I have to be depressed about? Really now? And I thought there has to be a different answer. And through, a lot of different workings of the universe, I started to find answers. I started to learn about this field of functional and regenerative medicine. I started to find out that what I learned in med school about this physical body and just a pill for every ill, have you heard that? Well, yeah, you got something wrong, let me write you a prescription. It just didn't hold weight. There was so much more to health. See, I was practicing sick care. I was not practicing health care. And that's what I do today. I look forward to coming to work every day. I'm excited to get out of bed. I love what I do. I had a lady today that came in all the way from Vancouver. Last week I had a lady drive from outside Regina. I serve people from all over the world. No, many people do fly in actually, but not everyone. I do consults by Skype and telephone and all of that. And it's such an absolute privilege to be able to help people in this way where we're restoring health. We're not looking at sickness. So let's see what's next. Hormones. I didn't learn more than 2 weeks worth of information on hormones, and I did 2 degrees in medicine. When you ask most doctors, it's, here's a prescription. Now, exactly what is a hormone? Anyone want to guess? Did you get anything, Troy?
Nothing yet. No.
Okay. Does anyone know what a hormone is? Okay, I will tell you. Hormones are your chemistry of life. They are chemical messengers that control every single function in your body. Whether it's your energy, your mood, your appetite, your sleep, your metabolism, whether you can burn fat or store fat. All of this is controlled by hormones, including your blood pressure, your blood sugar, your body temperature. So I ask you this, can you live without a blood pressure, without blood sugar levels, without regulating your body temperature? No way. And so I want you to think about hormones as the chemistry of life. Hormones keep you alive and they make you feel good. Being chemical messengers, hormones must work by chemical reactions. Now, think about a lock and a key. Now, hold your hand in a little C. So your left hand in a little C, and take your right hand and make a fist. And your right hand is the key. So put it into the lock and twist. So when a hormone goes into the cell receptor site, which is the lock, it says, make energy, make a good mood. Let's go to sleep. Whatever the hormone is instructing your cell to do, it does it through a lock and key mechanism. Just imagine, though, if you had a little 8-year-old who could get into 12 kinds of trouble in 30 seconds flat, and if he could put a matchstick into the lock, could my key unlock the lock? No. And this is why the area of hormones and hormone replacement and whether we should take them or not, it's not that simple. You know, it's just not as simple as writing a prescription. And I promise to talk about hormones and being dangerous if you take them. So we'll get into that later. So hormones, being chemical messengers, control every important function in your body. And there's hormones that make you feel good, and there's also hormones that keep you alive. They work in your body's biochemistry. Your body's biochemistry is that fluid environment inside your cells and outside your cells, around them, from which you make hormones and in which you use them. This is critical. If you're at all interested in knowing more about hormones, you must pay attention to your body's biochemistry. Can some of you name some things that would affect your body's biochemistry? What do you think would affect how your hormones can work, what's going on inside that fluid environment, inside your cells and around your cells and within your bloodstream?
We have a few coming in: toxins, poor diet, stress, types of food, what you drink.
Yay! Awesome. Awesome. Now, Troy, I can't find my cursor. Are there little lines coming out from biochemistry? Like little yellow lines?
Yes, there is now.
Okay.
See one. There you go. Yeah.
Okay. Now, your body's biochemistry is absolutely affected by that. So I'm dealing with a very sophisticated guest list here. I have to tell you this because most people, and in fact, as a regular doctor, I ate at the cafeteria. I drank water from the tap. I used whatever my hairstylist gave me on my hair. I put all kinds of cream. I had an eye cream, a body cream, a cellulite cream, a tummy firming cream. I mean, I'm sure you all know this, right? And then you guys, you know, with your shaving cream and then your aftershave and your cologne and your underarm deodorant and whatever it is that guys use, right? So I want you to notice all of these different things and start categorizing the things that affect your biochemistry. Let's start with genetics. And that's something I want to talk a little bit more about as the evening goes by. The next thing would be your body care. Everything you put on your body from the tip of your hair down to your toenails. Then your home care. Think about what you're cleaning your toilet bowl with. You use something else for your sink, and then you use a different thing for your kitchen, and then you use a different thing for the bathtub and the tiles, and the list goes on. Then there's laundry, right? Laundry detergent, laundry soap, all these things. Then your fabric softener, which is full of volatile organic chemicals and things like that. And then, as you accurately pointed out, food. So food and water, the things that you ingest. Herbicides, pesticides, preservatives, colorants. Oh my gosh, have you ever read the label on anything that you buy except fruit and vegetables? Of course, they don't come with labels, and they don't come with marketing either. I mean, why would you have to market a carrot? But sure, you'd have to market a box of Cheerios by saying it lowers cholesterol. What a bunch of baloney, right? In any event, my kids aren't here and I can say things like that, so I hope I'm not offending any of you. Are you getting the point, though? Food is filled with toxins. Now write this down. Dirty dozen. You must Google this. The Environmental Working Group consistently updates a list of the 12 most toxic vegetables and fruit in our environment today. And it changes. So just because it's not on the Dirty Dozen this year or this season doesn't mean you shouldn't pay attention to what was there last year, because that's now number 13, 14, and 15, right? So Be aware of the dirty dozen and try to eat those organic always. As far as your home care and your body care go, please go as natural as you can. In my home, we use vinegar and baking soda and borax. You don't need to spend a lot of money on those things. We use laundry balls. They're wool balls that substitute dryer sheets. And they do a great job. I put a little bit of essential oil on it. My clothing is fragrant. And I have no toxic exposures adding to my body's biochemistry, which then affects how hormones can work. So what else? Think habits, think hobbies. Now never mind the obvious like smoking and alcohol, but think about, I have a patient who paints and she uses paints that are cadmium based. That's a heavy metal, and that's one that really interferes with the cell energy cycle. It really interferes with how your thyroid hormone can work. Things like lead and mercury are huge. If you were born before the 80s, you have high propensity to have lead accumulating in your body. So you have to start thinking about where all these things come from. Did you grow up in a smoking household? What kind of exposures did you have as a child? Did you live near some kind of industry? Did you grow up near mining? Did you live near an orchard, near farm? All of these things impact you. Think about health habits. Think about medications that you're taking. All of this affects your body's biochemistry. Now, ultimately, it's your genetics that influence how toxic your biochemistry can get or not. Now, 23andMe advertises a lot, so many of you have heard of genetic testing. It's no longer out of reach in the affordability factor. And understanding your genetics is not to know whether you have a heart attack risk or dementia risk or whatever. I mean, sure, I'll tell you this much. Your genes are not your destiny. You have over 80% control over how your genes express themselves. So Angelina Jolie did not have to have her breasts and ovaries removed. She could have just focused on her body's biochemistry, vigilant assessing of her health status. And if she needed to, she could have done something if she caught it early. And that's the point. People don't understand how powerful how much of control and how powerful it is to know that you can control your gene expression. And I hope you're excited to know this, because your genes affect your liver pathways. There are over 400 pathways in your liver that affect how you detoxify and process out any kind of chemical molecule, whether it's Tylenol or Advil or a blood pressure pill, whether it's that persistent organic pollutant from your face cream or your shaving cream, whether it's the fluoride in the water or whatever it is in the food that you're eating. So no matter what it is that gets into your body's biochemistry, your liver helps clear it out. Your liver and all the enzyme processes within it is managed by your genetics. That being said, when we understand your genetics, we can ultimately impact how we clear your biochemistry, although I don't want you to think that genetics is the be-all and the end-all. It's a very crucial piece of the puzzle, but I treat many patients who do not want to know their genetics, and we still get incredible results. It's just cutting edge. It's newest science. It's things that I talk about today that I didn't talk about a year ago or 2 years ago or 3 years ago, because we didn't have that knowledge and that information. That all being said, know that your liver ultimately manages your hormone balance. Write this down. My liver ultimately manages my hormone balance. And the reason I tell you that is everyone wants me to write them hormones. They think that, because Oprah said, Now, I don't know if any of you have watched that, but in 2009, Oprah, Dr. Phil, Dr. Phil's wife, you name them, they were talking about hormones, and Sylvester Stallone was taking it and looking younger, and everyone thought, oh my gosh, the fountain of youth. Now, remember this part. You age because your hormone levels decline. Your hormone levels do not decline because you're aging. Contrary to what I learned when I used to look at your physical body and tell you you're getting old. Get over it. You're getting old. I said that to people. Imagine that. Now, in medicine, we have lower levels of estrogen and progesterone and testosterone for older people. Again, you age because your hormone levels decline. Your hormone levels do not decline because you're aging. We know this from longevity studies. We know that the communities that have the highest number of centenarians in the world, when we look at their hormone levels in their 80s and 90s, I mean, you're talking about fit, active, independent people who don't even look their age. And when we look at their hormone levels, we find that they match those levels of people much, much younger. Now, just because the Okinawa diet says that the Okinawans have the highest number of centenarians in the world, that you should follow the Okinawans and do exactly what they do, remember this much. Your genetics is different from theirs. All your exposures and your habits are different from theirs. So, does it mean that you can just go follow what someone else is doing and get the same results? No. That's why I'm painting you this triangle, and I want you to really get how you customize and personalize it for you.
Dr. Iyer,
Yes.
could you click your button a little more? Because all I see on that triangle is just two little yellow lines. There's no words. I see more lines, but is there supposed to be words there?
Oh, I just ruined it. Okay, there's physical. And that's where we're at right now. So do
Yeah.
you have lines?
I see the lines. Was there supposed to be words with it too?
No, you guys have to fill it in so that way I know you're
Oh,
awake and you're paying attention to me.
okay. I'm just making sure I was seeing what I was supposed to see. Okay, thanks.
So just find out if everyone's still awake and paying attention to me.
Yeah, everyone is. And there's a few comments. I'm awake. So everyone's awake.
Are you guys getting something interesting out of this so far?
Yes, yes. It says yes, yes, yes. Lots of people
Okay.
saying yes. I have
Okay,
a
good.
question here too. We can field questions later if you want, or
I have time, I think.
there was one comment asking about adrenal fatigue. There was one about early menopause.
Okay,
Question
so
was,
actually, then let's just hold those because I'm
okay.
coming to all of that.
Okay, so there's some specific questions we can handle later. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So now we've covered your physical body, which doctors are so good at, traditionally trained doctors, and I used to be so good at. Then we're talking about, now it's the age of hormones, right? And everybody's talking about hormones and how they change your life. But I want you to get that your hormones are just chemical messengers and they work in your biochemistry. So anything affecting your body's biochemistry, including your genetics, influences how you manage your hormones. And more, you can see that the word nutrients is above that. So nutrients shape your biochemistry. And 50, 60 years ago, it was just nutrients and your genetics that influenced your biochemistry. Today, as we've just discussed, there are, over 100,000 chemicals in the environment today than there were 50 years ago. And so all of these things are affecting you. I mean, even the pot that you use to cook your food in, if it has Teflon or if it's made with iron, all of these things are getting into your body as well and affecting your body's biochemistry. So don't take this part too lightly. Like, put some big highlights and stars around biochemistry and nutrients. And then all those little yellow lines are just because I wanted you to start making notes about all the things that affect your biochemistry. And we can revise or review it all later. Now, I press the button, so you already know what I wanted you to get. That there's another side to total and complete health. It's not showing up. So did anybody pay attention and sneak at my slide? What's missing? What is the other part of the triangle, this equilateral triangle where each side I'm showing you is as important as the next side? So what's missing? Anyone?
Have mental and emotional.
Yes. Thank you. So mental, emotional, and your spiritual health. And you know, my staff often say, but Dr. Iyer, you're going to sound so woo-woo when you talk to people about spiritual stuff. And you know, the simple fact, what is spirituality? It's your core beliefs. It's about what's, you know, you hold as your core values. It's not just, you know, religious practice, for example. Mental stress, I think, is there anyone out there who's never had stress? Probably not. Emotional, spiritual. I put that all together because I don't want you to think about any one thing alone. See, the thing is, when you're out of alignment with your core values, like say you're in a relationship with someone who doesn't treat you well, you're not healthy. I'm going to show you why. See, the thing is to cope with stress. Now, this is where you have to really keep up with me because I know I speak quick and I can't do the arrows. I couldn't figure it out. So when you have more stress, so put an arrow pointing up next to the word, to the left of mental, emotional, spiritual, right? So you have stress going up, which means that you're making more stress coping hormones. So to the left of the word hormones, put your arrow going up. If you make hormones from your biochemistry and use hormones in your biochemistry, then your biochemistry is going to change. Make sense? So put an arrow coming down, pointing down to the left of biochemistry, so that when you have more stress, so the arrow went up, you made more stress hormones, the arrow went up, your biochemistry goes down, it gets depleted, which means your nutrient stores are getting depleted as well. Is that clear? Anybody having trouble with that, let me know because I won't move past this. Ask me now. Is everybody good?
There's one question. Are we all made up of body, soul, and spirit? Why would anyone not be able to understand that you should treat the whole?
Well, does your doctor? I'll ask you that. Every time you go to your GP, what, are they looking at that?
No.
There you go. Okay, so when you have stress on that side of your triangle, you're making more stress coping hormones, your biochemistry is getting depleted, your nutrient stores are getting depleted, and so ultimately, every time you have stress, you're getting depleted. Now, what if you had stress when you were a child, when you were growing up at university, bad relationships, people died, bad things happened, divorced, couple jobs, financial stress, the economy crashed? Do you get the picture? Do you see how many arrows are now going up on that left side? Which means you're making a ton of stress coping hormones, which means now your biochemistry and your nutritional stores are getting more and more depleted. And I'll ask you this. When you're stressed, do you ever say, I'm so stressed, I'm going to have to go out and get some foods rich in vitamin B and magnesium and vitamin C and antioxidants and all those good things that will replete my nutrient stores and my biochemistry so I can keep coping with stress? Or are you like me, reaching for the red wine and the dark chocolate? And I'll tell you this, I check every day, and there's no single red wine or dark chocolate that has all those things my body needs to keep repleting to keep up with stress. But I will create it one day. So the message here is that the more stress you have, the more stress hormones you make, the more depleted you get. And typically, we are not trained to focus on response so that we can keep coping with stress. And this depletion is exactly what someone was asking about, adrenal fatigue. Now, that is a very old term. My physician partner and I, we focus on staying current in the science. And today we talk about hypothalamo-pituitary adrenal axis dysfunction. So HPA axis dysfunction. There's a very big reason for that. We know that no longer is adrenal fatigue about the adrenals. The brain is intimately connected. We also know that it's not just about the nutrients. I'm coming to another section next that I hope will blow your mind. And you have to stay tuned to that part because you're going to see how stress affects that, which affects everything else. Okay, so are there any questions about getting depleted from stress? Okay, I'll move on.
Let's see. I'll read off a few questions here, and you can determine if we want to talk about them later. First one, why are people gaining weight if nutrient stores deplete?
Can I just get to that one and then the next one?
Sure.
And I'll only take 3, okay? Because I can talk forever, and we only have like an hour and a bit left now.
Okay.
Sorry, guys, we'll get to, and I can stay on longer at the end as well. Just in honor of everybody's time, I need to finish on time too. So you gain weight. I'm so glad you asked. So you see this triangle, it can be used in many different ways. At the top point of your triangle, I want you to write insulin. On the bottom left point of your triangle, write cortisol. On the right-hand side of your triangle, write thyroid. If I did a survey before, and out of the 100 people registered for this survey, almost everyone would have said a hormone's name is estrogen or testosterone or progesterone. And after that, people would start going on about cortisol and thyroid and insulin. But these are your hormones that keep you alive. Without cortisol, you will die in 3 days. And the thing is that when you have high stress, you make more cortisol. And people talk about cortisol as the belly fat hormone. In actual fact, cortisol releases stored energy. The thing is, when cortisol goes up, your thyroid hormone slows down. So put an arrow going up next to cortisol, and thyroid has an arrow going down. See, when caveman was stressed, he only got stressed when the leaves turned brown. He didn't have a job. He didn't have kids doing drugs or, doing naughty things or whatever. He didn't have all these other things going on. He saw the leaves turn brown. And he started thinking, oh my gosh, I have no fridge, no freezer, no microwave, right? I have no canned food. So he would slow down his metabolism so he could eat a handful of berries, and he would gain weight from it because that was the store of energy, the hibernation thing, right? Now, at the same time, when caveman was running from a tiger, he needed to release stored energy to his muscles, to his brain, right? So put an arrow going up next to insulin. And insulin takes sugar and stores it as fat. So this is called your metabolic triad. And this is one little piece of the metabolic puzzle. The next piece is that your body is dealing with hundreds of thousands of little molecules coming at it all day long, whether you're breathing it in from the, combustion of the car fuel or the jet fuel or the factories and what they're releasing or, the house cleaner and all the things we talked about already. All of these molecules come into your body and your liver has to neutralize them and send them out. At the same time, your liver processes hormones and helps you send out the bad byproducts of hormone metabolism. At the same time, your liver is also processing your Tylenol or your Advil or your Tums or your heartburn pill or whatever it is, or the herbicides and the pesticides and the food you just ate. This is all making sense. So your body is burdened with toxins, and every single time Your cytochrome enzyme systems in your liver work. They're using up nutrients. Now, when you're stressed, you're using up nutrients. When your liver's working, you're using up nutrients. And all of this is leading to nutrient depletion. But nutrient depletion, I'm not talking caloric. I'm talking about micronutrients, your vitamin B, your magnesium, your vitamin C, your trace minerals like molybdenum and selenium and manganese and boron, right? So all of these, you have to think micronutrients, all these things that you learned years ago in high school even, right? All of these are part of very intricate pathways, chemical micro-reactions. And every time a reaction occurs, you're using up nutrients. But you're drinking wine and beer and eating pizza and potato chips or McDonald's or Kraft Dinner or whatever else people are eating out there. But never mind that. You might be eating lean cuisine, which is supposedly healthy. You might be eating other things, you know, like drinking diet pop, which you think is healthy. And all of this is still causing nutrient depletions because they're not restoring the nutrients that you needed. Like, show me a McDonald's burger that's high in, you know, natural B vitamins and magnesium and vitamin C to replete your adrenal stress response. So just to add to that question, and thank you to whoever asked it, because it is absolutely crucial that you get this next point too. Your body creates fat to store toxins. For many people, about 40 to 60% of the population, they have this MTHFR metabolic defect. And I always tease, it's the mother what genetic malformation. You don't methylate in order to process out toxins. That's what it means. So I'm not sure if any of you have heard of this, but this is like genetic science now. Methylation is the process to neutralize certain molecules so that your body can safely excrete it. For example, take a Tylenol. It goes through your liver in phase 1. Phase 1 turns it into a hyperactive metabolite. That goes out, cures your headache, comes back to your liver, and then it's got to be turned into a safely excretable molecule. It might be methylation or sulfation or glycation or whatever these metabolic pathways are. Then it's made into a water-soluble or a fat-soluble form, and then you can pee or poop it out. That's how your body deals with toxins. That's exactly how your body deals with hormones. Now consider that you have over 100,000 toxins in the world today, and you put hairspray on, and then you shave, and you use shaving. Okay, if you're a guy, you're using shaving cream and all these things, and if you're a girl, you're using hairspray and lipstick and foundation and body cream and toenail polish, and you get the picture, right? So your phase 1 of your liver function is now dealing with all of this, trying to deal with your Tums and your Advil and your whatever else you're taking. It's trying to deal with the herbicides and the pesticides and the food that you ate, and then at the same time, we wanted to also deal with hormones. And this whole pathway gets backed up. And this is what we call phase 1, phase 2 mismatch, where we're having trouble detoxifying. And your body in all its wisdom is going to deal with the things that are going to make you sickest most and store everything else away in fat. Here's a case in point. I have a patient who had severe Crohn's disease, and more than 20 feet of her intestines were removed. She has, and I mean, I'm sure you all have had diarrhea at some point in your life, and I'm a doctor, so I'm going to talk about it. I mean, she eats, it comes right out. The lady is 80 pounds overweight, and her doctor tells her to eat less and exercise more. And she says, any little thing I eat goes right through me. Can you tell me how I'm taking in enough calories to get fat? And he says, I don't know, but I bet you're eating and not telling me, so just eat less and exercise more. And she came to me. Her iron stores were low, her B vitamin levels were low. Any micronutrient that I tested in her was low. And this is proof that your micronutrient stores don't have anything to do with the fat that you're storing. Fat is now known to be an organ that makes its own hormones. Fat is a storage and protective organ to save you from toxins. I want you to write this down. Fat is a symptom that something else is wrong. The simple fact of the matter is, if diet and exercise worked, and everybody who wanted to be skinny would be skinny. So I hope that clarifies this whole thing about micronutrients, body fat, your metabolic triad, and this whole way of looking at you that I look at you, which is your mental, emotional, spiritual, your physical body, and your nutritional, biochemical, hormonal body. And I can't work with my patients and get them results if I ignore any little part of this. This is exactly why I built the team that I built at Better. You know, on the mental, emotional, spiritual side, we have a meditation coach, we have a life coach, we have a hypnotherapist, we have a psychologist. For your physical body, we send you out for a kinesiology and fitness assessment. We also work with a cardiac fitness team where they'll look at your physical body and what you can accomplish. On this other side, I have the two of us, both MDs, who specialize in hormone balancing. The field is actually called functional and regenerative medicine. So putting your body back to its best function and regenerating what we can to restore your health back to best. We look at your biochemistry, and together with us, we have a naturopathic physician who helps us maximize your body's biochemistry. We have a functional diagnostic nutritionist who works with you to customize your nutrition. I hope I've convinced you that no one of you can do the same thing and get the same results. That being said, some of you, and I've heard this a lot from my own patients, what worked for me before is not working for me now. And this is because all of you process stress differently. As you mature, you tend to manage stress differently too, I think, I hope, right? Your hormones, when you're younger, you're making them more efficiently. As you get older, you've got more toxins, you're making less. Your biochemistry is influenced by all these things. But what you liked to eat before and what you like to eat now may have changed. What you use on your hair today and what you use on your body today might be different from what you did before. So your entire biochemistry is different. You might have moved homes, you might have moved schools. There's lots of things that change in your life that affect your biochemistry, so your biochemistry changes. And this is why you don't get the same results every single time. And this is why no two people can get the same result from the same things. I hope this is clear. And then add to that genetics. So if you want to squeeze in genetics into your triangle, put it in between nutrients and biochemistry, but to the side, because the genetics affect your nutrient assimilation and it affects your body's biochemistry. So if I had identical twins, I still can't get the exact same results from a weight loss program for both of them, because how they perceive stress, what kind of relationships cause them stress, what kind of work they had caused them stress is different. And I'm sure you can relate to this. You know, your friend comes blabbing and crying and sobbing about some event in their life, and you're trying to be supportive, and you're actually thinking, I really don't see the problem, right? I mean, how many of you have done that? You don't think that it's stressful, but somebody else thinks it's very stressful. So I hope that's clear, that everybody's triangle ends up very different. And this is why it's the age now of customized, personalized medicine. And this is a puzzle that Dr. Carr made so that you can have an idea of how many different things we look at when we work with you to find you the results that you need, because what's working for you is not going to be working for someone else. It's a pretty cool puzzle. I couldn't have done that myself. And you know, what we do is exactly 4P medicine. This is a term coined by Dr. Leroy Hood, Institute of Systems Biology, and he said predictive, preventive, participatory, and personalized. So today I saw a lady, And, we're treating her and trying to manage her blood sugars, reverse her diabetes, which we do all the time, trying to get her off of some of her medication and things like that. But she drinks 7 glasses of wine a day. Now, some of you are rolling your eyes, and I've learned not to do that. I mean, everybody is where they are on their journey. And 7 is better than the 11 she was doing before. So for me, I can't tell her, you have got to stop drinking wine in order for me to work with you. Look what you're doing to your biochemistry. Look what you're doing to your liver pathway. No, she has to participate. And in her participation, she's dropped from 11 glasses of wine to 7. Personalized approach means I have to work with her for where she's at. So, today is not the type of medicine where you just write prescriptions and you decide to tell everybody to do what you tell them and assume that they're going to listen to you. And I learned that a long, long, long time ago that, patients don't always do as we want them to. So, my journey has been pretty incredible. I had to learn a lot myself because I used to be that doctor. I used to just write prescriptions and tell people what to do. And today I work with them. I get them to be part of the whole journey, educate, empower them to be in charge of their own health. See, I don't do anything. I help coach you. My partner, she helps coach you. Everybody on our team, we coach you. I forgot to mention Dr. Wu. He's the only person not online with us on our team, actually. And Dr. Wu is our doctor of traditional Chinese medicine and acupuncture. And we find that acupuncture is huge in preventive and in therapeutic medicine for us with our patients, because it helps patients while we work on their biochemistry, while we work on their tests. And, it's not a quick process. It's not very slow. I mean, the average person feels better with